Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Keep silver stacking. PSA for 2021. Let's explore. The United States Mint recently put out a video on their YouTube channel called Get Coin Moving PSA 2021. I thought it was quite an interesting video because we do remember there was this, quote, coin shortage last year, when in reality there was not a coin shortage at all, but it was just a supply chain issue. In other words, there was not coinage circulating around. So the Mint stepped up manufacturing and produced a record amount of coinage between 2020 and 2021. But as David J. Ryder said in his Get Coin Moving PSA message, it's not a manufacturing problem, it is a supply chain problem. And such is the case with silver as well. There is no silver shortage. There's not a manufacturing problem. There is a demand problem. In other words, people are in great demand for the metal, and so therefore there's not silver found at a reasonable price. And so people are wondering what's going on here. The premiums are crazy, and we're not able to find the silver we need. In fact, the Mint itself talked about having a problem sourcing silver blanks. And so therefore the manufacturing of the silver is now probably a situation where they are able to produce the amount of normal blanks needed, but there's a great demand for them all across the board. But the lesson in this video is not necessarily so much about the supply chains and the demand for silver now, especially with the silver squeeze movement in effect. There's still a great demand, but a lot of that has kind of subsided a bit. As things start to open up from the pandemic, and there's going to be greater manufacturing, and we've already kind of seen some examples of this in commerce. But regardless, there will still continue to be these premiums. But the message that I want to get out in this PSA, that's in some ways mirrors the Mint's PSA, is a sense going to be the antithesis to it. And that is to keep silver stacking. In other words, hold on to this stuff. I wouldn't be selling it at this point in time. The prices are dipping, and we may see silver kind of subside a bit through the summer months. Now, anything can happen, can move one way or the other, but people will be discouraged. We've seen this before when people go to thinking they're squeezing the price of silver from the COMEX and the big banks, and the price just dips for days, and maybe even months at a time. But you have to look at this in perspective, especially compared to last year. We are really only kind of where we were when things started kind of ramping up for silver, when it literally doubled in price in terms of the spot price for silver. Premiums kind of skyrocketed as soon as the price dipped down below $12 an ounce, which we saw for a brief amount of time in March of last year. Since then, I remember specifically around the end of July, the price of silver went up to $25. Well, we are in that range again, in the high 25 range. And by the time you see this video, who knows where it'll be. It'll probably either be lower in the low 25s, or it may reach up above $26 again. We'll see. Regardless, people will be disappointed that we couldn't hold on to that $28 level and stay there or go up to $29 or $30. Some people think we should be there already for a myriad of different reasons. I know people will talk about manipulation probably in the comments section of this video, but that is really in a sense a loose term, and who is manipulating what in order to make the silver prices go down or even go up. And that's an open-ended discussion for another day, but essentially we can all agree that the Federal Reserve is about the manipulation of the economy, and that's pretty transparent there. So therefore, it's going to affect all commodities, including silver. But nonetheless, something we can rest assured is that in time, silver will preserve its value or preserve your wealth in due course. And so if you get frustrated with silver, I can understand maybe not buying it, especially with the premiums where they are now. But I would not recommend selling at this point in time if that's something you're thinking about out of frustration. Keep silver stacking. That's my public service announcement. And even if you need to pause on buying because you're just not sure that you're making the right move here, if you are evidently frustrated with the markets, with the silver market especially compared to gold, and with that increasing gold to silver ratio, it's understandable. Silver is an odd duck of the commodities out there because it wrestles between being a commodity and being a monetary metal and a hedge. In fact, many times the commodity side wins, and we've seen that with this high gold to silver ratio or higher. But I've been around long enough to see the swings in silver, and so therefore I've been through it when silver was trading almost at $50 an ounce. I didn't sell then, and I didn't sell when it went down to $12 an ounce either. And so if you can afford to hold on to it, I would do just that. In fact, I really believe in not selling unless you need to, or unless you find an opportunity to profit from it at a strategic point in time, either to better your family's financial situation or your own financial situation, or see an opportunity to diversify with other assets such as gold at a fair deal in trading against the ratio. It's hard to do in the physical because of premiums, but if you feel like you have enough silver can do that, well, there might be an opportunity out there for such a case. But regardless, part of what it is and what it means to be a silver stacker, I believe, is just that. You are literally accumulating silver, and in this case, you're looking at actual physical stacks of the metal. And that those physical stacks can be and can exist upon accumulation over a period of time. And as you can tell from most of the silver, it was purchased at different points in time. And so you build a stack of this stuff, and you do it in such a way that you're not taking a loss unless you need to sell it. And if you don't need to sell it, well, you strategically wait to sell it when you can come out even, at the very least. Maybe at times even come out ahead in terms of your price. But you have to always take into account inflation, and it's a tricky thing. And because silver, I don't believe, was ever really met as the metal itself, in the forms especially that you see it, as a way to profit or get rich. It's really meant to be a savings vehicle, an insurance policy whose premiums will adjust based off of the market conditions. And right now we are in unusual market conditions, especially with these high premiums and limited availability. But that is being changed at this point in time too. So though it somewhat mirrors the U.S. Mint's PSA, it is really the exact opposite message. We should be holding on to our silver, not sending it into circulation at this point in time. So if you're frustrated with the markets and you purchased silver at a higher price thinking you were going to squeeze whatever, well, hold on tightly, and just bear in mind that the market conditions change, and I am still bullish for silver overall by the end of the year, based off of my hunch and based off of what kind of my understanding of the markets. Doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the case, but in the long run, however long that run may be, and depending on how you have been purchasing silver by using smart dollar cost averaging, you will fare well And faring well means preserving your wealth, breaking even at the end of the road, and that's what it's about. For some of us, this will be a generational wealth transfer. Others of us, we will sell when it's time, either retirement or an emergency of any sort. And in that case, you are at the mercy of the situation in hand, and you need to sell it. And those are things that is part of what it's there for. So keep that in mind and hold fast. Keep stacking. So there you go. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.